Muscle. Team Fountain, Firewater, and the Muscle waiting for the green. Boats beginning to pick up speed, and we got a quick green flag here in this first race of the 12th annual Miami Offshore Grand Prix. And the Muscle going to the immediate lead, followed by Fountain Instigator and Firewater. It's the Muscle, Fountain Instigator, and Firewater. There they are, 1, 2, and 3. The Muscle, Fountain Instigator, and Firewater. Instigator there, you can see on the inside. The Muscle with a slight lead. Let's go on board Firewater now. On board Firewater V1, powered by two 800 horsepower Stoutler racing engines, 40-foot fountain. Bob Oliver, the driver, Rich Wyatt, the throttle man. Bob from King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, Rich from Boca Raton, Florida. On board now, Jaws Racing Team.
With Rivera?
No, with
Yeah, we'll stay right here.
There he goes. Now Rivera isn't going.
Just give him some space. Stay off this way a little bit.
Mark Herman at the wheel. Dave Wesseldike, the throttle man.
Has he got the green up? He's got the green up.
Giddy up. Got an orange marker. Got a highway.
I got it.
Go out a little bit.
Jaws, a 46-foot skater. Powered by two 1,250 horsepower engines. All right, back to a helicopter shot. Just moments after the race, as we said, the Muscle going to the immediate lead right after the green flag, followed by Fountain Instigator and Firewater. Very quick green here in Miami Beach. First SBI race of the season. The Muscle and Super V, your leader right now. There's Instigator on the inside. The Muscle with a slight lead here in the early moments of this race. There's Instigator on the inside and Jaws on the outside of Jaws is Pier 57. They are battling there on the outside. Jaws and Pier 57. Jaws there on the outside. Pier 57 on the far outside. Jaws, of course, a 46-foot skater. Pier 57, a 42-foot fountain system. On board Pier 57, it's David Wood, the driver. Art Lilly, the throttle man. Let's go on board now. On board, Jaws. Mark Herman and Dave Wesseldike, driver and throttle man. 46-foot skater.
Here comes Pier 57 on the right.
This is the start turn.
Yeah, we're
go
not.
to the next set of buoys.
Huh?
We got to go to the next set of buoys.
Yeah. Okay. We'll push him out a little bit here.
Jaws and Pier 57 will battle there going on in Superboat Unlimited. Going into the first turn, Jaws and Pier 57. Great little battle going on here in the early stages of the race between Jaws and Pier 57 on the far outside. Jaws and Pier 57 battling it out here in Superboat Unlimited. Pier 57 making a move there on the outside. There's a Reverie boat coming now with Kel Roki and Jim Dyke Reverie. And there's a Jason Priestley boat going across the lane, spraying down Jaws and hitting the Pier 57 boat. We've got a collision there. Uh-oh, what's going on there? Let's see that one more time. Reverie coming down in the middle. And now we've got the Jason Priestley boat on the inside going across, hosing down Jaws, heading into Pier 57, and we've got a collision. Pier 57 has been hit. All right, now let's see that one more time in slow motion. As we said, we've got a major collision here. There we've got Reverie coming through. Reverie, a 43-foot Douglas Marine skater with Kel Roki and Jim Dyke coming through. Jason Priestley boat on the inside from 90210 fame. Jason Priestley, the driver of that boat, coming through from the inside, going across, spraying down Jaws, you can see. Continues to go across, goes behind Reverie, and heads for Pier 57. Pier 57, of course, David Woods and Art Lilly on board, driver and throttleman. And there you see the collision, a major collision, a serious collision between these two boats. The Jason Priestley Racing Team and Pier 57. Dan Campbell also on board the Jason Priestley Racing Team. He is the throttleman. On board Jaws now. Let's listen in.
All right. Got one boat on the inside, so just keep her lane right here. Watch Campbell, son of a bitch. Where the he going? Holy shit. Come on. What the was he doing?
Man, he hit Pier 57.
Did he really?
He hit him. Okay, put it to it. Rock and roll.
There heard Mark Herman expressing his feelings about what just occurred. Mark Herman, the driver, Dave Wesseldike, the throttleman, on board Jaws. Right after this mishap between Pier 57 and the Jason Priestley Racing Team.
That's the hole I was telling you about. Right there.
Whoa.
And one world champion in Superboat V. 40-foot fountain powered by two 800 horsepower Stotler Racing inboards. Bob Oliver, the driver, Rich Wyatt, the throttleman, Firewater. Firewater. Bob Oliver and Rich Wyatt, driver and throttleman. Other competitors in Superboat V, we've got The Muscle, Fountain Electronics, and Fountain, of course, Firewater, watching right now. Firewater also a part sponsor for Freeze Frame Video Production here in Miami Beach. Nice throttling there by Rich Wyatt from Boca Raton, Florida. Bob Oliver from King of Prussia is still on board. Bob Oliver at the wheel, Rich Wyatt on throttle. You're watching the 12th annual Miami Beach Offshore Grand Prix. There is beautiful Miami Beach. Firewater powered by Stoutler Racing Engines. We're going to go with Invence's Fountain in Factory 2. Invence's Fountain, a 38-foot fountain powered by two 500-horsepower Mercury inboards. Roger Osley's the driver. David Knight, the throttle man. Invence's Fountain in Factory 2. Now, the F-215 team would like to thank their featured sponsor, Invence's. Invence's is a global company with over 48,000 employees specializing in bringing energy management solutions to customers worldwide. Invence's energy management includes supply and demand-side products and services to give customers a total end-to-end energy solution. This includes the most comprehensive group of companies in the world to create value for customers in the energy management market. Now, this team, Invence's Fountain, they were your 2001 world champions. Your national champions in 2000 and your world champions in 1999. Right now, first in class, number one in Factory 2. Invence's Fountain with Roger Osley and David Knight. Around the turn. Beautiful Miami Beach skyline. In Factory 2, there's Daytona Performance Marine F2-117. It's a 38-foot fountain powered by two 500-horsepower Mercury inboards. John Reed, the driver. Wyatt Fountain is the throttle man. By the way, this is the rookie race for this racing team. Now, Daytona Performance Marine is a Mercury, Mercruiser, and Yamaha dealer. Also, their boat lines include Fountain, Chaparral, Century, and Sailfish. Provide service and sales and on inboards and outboards, and they're located in Daytona Beach. Special thanks to Wyatt Fountain for all of his help, and of course also to Tammy and Brian for their help as well. And Freeze Frame Video Productions would certainly like to welcome them to the wonderful world of offshore racing. John Reed of Daytona Performance Marine. And we certainly look forward to seeing them next week at the first APBA race in Daytona. Round the turn for Daytona Performance Marine. Other competitors in Factory 2. We've got, of course, Invence's Fountain, we just saw, Miccosukee Indian Racing, Outlaw, GMC Fountain, Rodriguez Group, and the other Fountain boat. Let's go with Chicks Beach Offshore F-141. It's a 29-foot fountain. Gino Marone is the driver. Mark Kowalski, the throttle man. Gino from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Mark from Medina, Ohio. Powered by one 500 horsepower Mercury inboard. Lots of competitors in Factory 1, some 12 competitors in all. Typhoon Racing, My Happy Place, Velocity VR1, Mutual Fun, Patriot Offshore Racing, Team BRE Activator, SuperboatUSA.com, Offshore Addiction, Flashwave, and H2O Motorsports. Of course, we're watching Chicks Beach Offshore, a highly competitive Factory 1 class. Little flying going on down here in Daytona Beach. Chicks Beach Offshore. Let's go on board. Gino Marone and Mark Kowalski. Water's not as bumpy as last year. Right, your helicopter shot, Chicks Beach Offshore. All right, let's go now with Patriot Offshore Racing, F-177, the 29-foot fountain. Curtis Watkins, the driver. John Dames is the throttle man. Mercury powered, 500 horsepower inboard. Patriot Offshore Racing. Viper Marine, the owner of this fountain. Other crew members include Ronnie Skimmer. This boat took a second place in St. Cloud a couple of weeks ago. Special thanks to Competitive Edge for the maintenance on the boat. On board Patriot Offshore Racing. Patriot Racing. Curtis Watkins and John Thames. Here's one of the Rindle boats. Patriot goes by. Nice jump there. As we said, the waters are not as bumpy as last year, though. They're a little rock and rolling going on here in Daytona. And from the far outside, there's Daytona Performance, then Pier 57, and Media Master. And of course, the pace boat on the far outside. Daytona, Pier 57, and Media Master. Now coming into the mix, there you see Lady Sarah on the outside. Lady Sarah. Daytona, Pier 57, and Media Master. There's a little bit of Nick Carter. There's Nick Carter now on the inside. So we've got Lady Sarah, Daytona, Pier 57, Media Master, and Nick Carter lining up. Now coming into the picture, Oats Quality Foods and Rodriguez Racing. So we've got Rodriguez, Oats Quality Foods, Nick Carter, Media Master, Pier 57, Daytona Performance, and Lady Sarah. And we are raring to go here, just moments away from the green as the boats are lining up behind the pace boat. we've got a green flag now for race number 2 here at the second annual Daytona Harley-Davidson Offshore Grand Prix. Everyone off to a great start. There's Lady Sarah, Daytona Performance, Pier 57, and Media Master all in the shot, and everyone right behind. Everyone off to a great start. Nick Carter going to the front. Nick Carter Racing. Rodriguez, It's Quality Food, they are all indoor. Great start for race number 2. There you see Nick Carter edging out a little bit. Your early leader in these early moments of race number 2. Everyone right behind, though. Great racing going on here in Daytona Beach. Let's go on board Nick Carter Racing now with Steve Oropesa and Lee Murray at the start. Let's listen to those Mercury engines as they rev up and start the race. Powered by two 800 horsepower Mercury inboards, 40-foot fountain. Steve Oropesa, the driver, Lee Murray, the throttle man. They are from Key West. Great start for this boat and the rest of the competitors as well. Rear shot aboard Nick Carter Racing. 2 onboard cameras on board Nick Carter. Of course, Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. All right, back to a helicopter shot, and there the lineup at the early moments of this race. Right after the green, there you see Nick Carter shooting out, your early leader. Steve Oropesa and Lee Murray on board the 40-foot fountain Nick Carter Racing. They are all in the mix. All these boats off to a great start. There you see Media Master right on the outside of Nick Carter Racing. A real battle going on there. There's It's Quality Foods on the inside with Mitch Miller and Matt Rice, driver and throttle man. Of course, Nick Carter, your leader, with Media Master on the outside. It's Quality Foods and Pier 57 on the far outside. Pier 57, Media Master, and Nick Carter Racing. And Daytona Performance on the far outside. There's It's Quality Foods coming up on the inside with Matt Rice and Mitch Miller. It's Quality Foods, a 36-foot fountain. Matt Rice and Mitch Miller, the owners of this boat. Mercury powered, 2 500 horsepower inboards. Special thanks to Fred Wagenhals from Castaway Action Performance. And of course, Benjamin Brooks is the crew chief. Also special thanks to Mike and Janet Rice for their support. Nice throttling there by Matt Rice. Matt from New Oxford, Pennsylvania. Mitch from Cornelius, North Carolina. On board now, It's Quality Foods Castaway with a rear shot, rear view camera. Around the turn for Utz Quality Foods. Cast away. All right, back to our helicopter shot, and there they are. There is Nick Carter Racing with Media Master on the outside. Pier 57, of course, it's quality there. Castaway on the inside. And Daytona Performance on the far outside. Your leader, Nick Carter, up ahead, as you can see. Nick Carter racing a 40-foot fountain. There's Lady Sarah. Lady Sarah. We're going to go with Nick Carter Racing now. Nick Carter Racing in Super V. The bottom boat, a 40-foot fountain. Steve Oropesa is the driver. Lee Murray, the throttle man. They're both from Key West, Florida. This boat is Mercury powered with a set of 800 horsepowered Mercury inboards. Nick Carter Racing. Round the turn. Rear shot. There's Pier 57 up front. Pier 57 in Super V Light Factory 2 class. Nick Carter in Super V. Special thanks to the Blue Marlin Hotel in Key West, as well as the Hog's Breath Saloon. Hog's Breath is better than no breath at all. Pier 57 on the outside, Nick Carter Racing on the inside. Steve Oropesa and Lee Murray. Nice jump there by Nick Carter Racing. Let's go on board Nick Carter Racing. There's Steve Oropesa, the driver. Steve from Key West, Florida. There's Pier 57 on the right side. "22 onboard cameras provided by freeze frame video for this event here in Daytona Beach." Vector helicopter shot, Pier 57 on the outside. On the inside, Nick Carter Racing. There's Pier 57 on the right side. "22 onboard cameras provided by freeze frame video for this event here in Daytona Beach." Vector helicopter shot, Pier 57 on the outside. On the inside, Nick Carter Racing. Media Master and Lady Sarah also in Super B. There's Pier 57 in Super B Light Factory 2. Competitors in that class, it's Quality, Rodriguez Group, and Daytona Performance. This Pier 57 is a 38-foot fountain powered by two 500 horsepower Vortec inboards. Bill McComb and Rick Turmel on board, driver and throttleman. As we said, this boat is throttled by three-time world champion Rick Turmel, driven by Bill McComb. Now, in 2001, Rick and Bill were world champions in Key West. Bill would like to thank Ellie, his wife, and kids, as well as Dennis McSweeney for his help, part of sports marketing. Also, Sarasota Spine and Sports Therapy. Now, Debbie Fleischer for Public Relations, Jeff Crystal Brown, Turmel Family and Friends, and, of course, Stainless Marines, Jerry Schmidt. Also, special thanks to Offshore, Mindy and John, and, of course, the crew for the drive. And a special thanks to Champs Sports. You can check out champssports.com. Pier 57 Stainless Marine, first in class, going around the turn. Nick Carter coming up. There's Media Master on the outside. Media Master 30 powered. John Reed Jr., the driver. He's from Daytona. Wyatt Fountain, the throttle man. Grimesland, North Carolina. As we said, it's Mercury powered. Powered by two 500 horsepower Mercury inboards. By the way, Daytona Performance Marine is a dealer for Mercury, Mercruiser, and Yamaha for all your performance needs right here in Daytona Beach. Daytona Performance Marine. This boat ran very well the other week in Miami at the first SBI race of the season. I'd like to welcome John Reed to the wonderful world of offshore racing. John Reed Jr., the driver of Daytona Performance Marine. Nice throttling there by Wyatt Fountain. Daytona Performance Marine, 38-foot fountain. All right, coming up is Harwich Concrete Block Pier 57. 35-foot fountain, mercury powered. This boat powered by two 500 horsepower Mercury inboards. Mark O'Duggan is the driver. He's from Winthrop, Massachusetts. Chris Wickstrom is the throttle man. He's from Harwich, Massachusetts. Chris also the owner of Harwich Concrete Block. There they are. This boat took a first place in St. Cloud a couple of weeks ago. Currently in third place here in Factory 2. There they are. They're on board. Shot Harwich Concrete Block. As we said, these guys are from Massachusetts, so one of the stops on the APBA tour this year will be close to their home. That, of course, will be in Cape Cod, Mass. That's on June 7th, one of the national stop for the APBA. And the rest of the schedule looks like this. After Daytona, it's Marathon, Florida on May 17th. Cape Cod, as we said, June 7th. Then Savannah, Georgia on July 3rd. Cleveland, Ohio on July 26th. We've got Corpus Christi, August 16th. Atlantic City on September 20th, and that rounds out the season for the national championships on October 18th in St. Petersburg, and the Worlds on November 18th in Key West. Oaks on the inside. Big Oaks Offshore, 42-foot fountain. Out for Justice in the middle there. Of course, on the outside, got Powerboat Tours. Out for Justice, picking up speed on the inside. We've got let's see, Big Oaks and Powerboat Tours on the outside. All right, Big Oaks Offshore, 42-foot fountain. John Giovanetti's the driver, throttleman. John Reed Jr., the navigator. They are from Florida. They took a first place in Daytona. John Giovanetti and John Reed Jr. There they are on board Big Oaks Offshore, 42-foot fountain. John Giovanetti, the owner, Big Oaks. Performance 3. Velocity and PowerboatsTour.com, the other boats in Performance 3. Is Bacardi Silver on the outside. Bacardi Silver, your overall leader at this point. Eight onboard cameras for you, provided by Freeze Frame Video for race number 1. 20 in all for this event. Big Oaks Offshore, and on the outside, we got Out for Justice. Everybody's got a green flag once again. Everyone had slowed down for the yellow flag, but the green is back up, and both beginning to pick up speed. Big Oaks, and on the outside, Out for Justice. There's Bacardi Silver on the outside, just coming right through. Bacardi Silver. John Giovanetti and John Reed Jr. Carried by two 700 horsepower imports. We got a ton of boats there. We've got Patriot, Offshore Addiction, Flashwave, Mutual Fun. We also have Typhoon Racing and Propco getting ready for the green now. And we've got the green flag here on the Factory 1 start here at Marathon Offshore Grand Prix. And we got Velocity VR1 going to the immediate lead, followed by Patriot and Propco with Mutual Fun back there as well. There's VR1 Velocity. And there's Patriot. Patriot Racing. And Mutual Fun. So we got the Velocity, Mutual Fun, Patriot, and Propco. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the early moments of this race. Velocity, Mutual Fun, Patriot, and Propco. Bo's getting a little close there, but no problem. Calm waters here in Marathon, Florida. Patriot, Propco, Mutual Fun, and back there on the outside, but your leader right now by a close margin is Velocity. There you can see Velocity on the far outside. Velocity, Patriot, Propco, and Mutual Fun. Around the turn. Offshore Addiction coming in on the inside. Offshore Addiction also in the mix. An activator all the way there, back there. Once again, velocity. Uh-oh, Propco goes into Patriot. We got a major collision here as Patriot spins around and hits Offshore Addiction as well. Let's see it again. As we go around the turn, there is Propco getting close to Patriot. And he collides with Patriot. And we've got one occupant out of Propco in the water as we see Patriot spin around and hit Offshore Addiction, and Patriot itself now begin to do a 360. We've got a major mishap here on the first turn here in the Factory 1 start. We'll tell you more about that occupant out of that Propco boat in a moment. Let's go on board now as it looks from the Patriot Racing Team. Going into that first turn. Propco on the right side. On board Patriot with Curtis Watkins and John Thames. In Propco, we've got David Carruth and Steve Wessinger. Let's listen. Major collision as Patriot spins around, but as you can see, Curtis Watkins and John Thames, they are okay, and they're trying to figure out what just happened. What happened was they got sighted by Propco, as one occupant in the Propco boat is out of the boat. Let's see that again. They go around the first turn one more time. Patriot going into Offshore Addiction, spins around, but they are okay. We understand that Angel 1 is en route to the scene. One occupant and Propco out of that boat. We'll give you an update in 1 minute. In the meantime, let's go with Flash Wave, a 29-foot Warlock. David Rem and Jim Scherer, driver and throttleman aboard this 29-foot Warlock Flash Wave. Look at checkered flag in Daytona. Now, David's father, Dwight Rem, is transporting the boat to 15 races this year. Beginning with the Pro Series in Daytona, the Flash Wave team, sponsored by CalDiet.com and Americash Home Loans, will be running all Pro Series and Pacific Offshore Series races this year. Flash Wave. David Rem, the driver, Jim Scherer, the throttleman. They're from California. Flash Wave. There's Wild Rose right ahead of Flash Wave. There's Activator coming up, that green boat on the outside. There's Activator on the outside. Activator, it's a 27-foot Activator with B.J. Marr, the driver, and Mark Schnepp, the throttleman. They are national champions in Factory 1. Activator. There's Chicks Beach in Factory 1, running well right now. Chicks Beach Offshore. 29-foot Fountain. Gino Marone is the driver. Lute Dickey is the throttleman. Also ran well in Daytona earlier this year. Mercury powered, 500 horsepower inboard. Chicks Beach Offshore. We have an onboard camera on board Chicks Beach. We'll go on board in just a moment. Many spectators along the 7 Mile Bridge there in the background. Chicks Beach Offshore likes to thank one of their sponsors, Aflac Insurance. Spectator boats lining the course. Nice driving there by Gino Marone. Lute Dickey, the throttle man. Gino from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Lute from Tennessee, Cordova, Tennessee. Calm waters here in Florida.
Stay in it. Got it. It's a fucked up start. They ain't thrown it yet. Slow down, slow down. Take the outside, take the outside. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Is it a, have we started? Oh no, but I'm out of the flag still. Is it yellow? Go, go, go. Time to separate the same from the insane, baby. Shit. Green, green. Got it.
On board Chicks Beach Offshore.
Son of a bitch. Told you she's loose. Bring them in just a touch. Just a barely a half a mark. Got it. I'll just hold it like they're right here.
Top of the back, Chicks Beach Offshore. Item Matt from New Oxford, Pennsylvania. Special thanks to Utz Quality Foods, Mike and Jane Rice, for their support as well. This boat took a 4th place in Daytona earlier this year. For right now, it is number 1, Utz Quality Foods. Special thanks to Fred Wagenhouse from Castaway and Action Performance. Also special thanks to Benji Brooks, the crew chief of Utz Quality Foods. Number 1 right now in Super V. Super V Light. Mercury powered, 2 500 horsepower inboards. Matt Rice and Mitch Miller, also the owners of this boat. Fairly calm waters today here in Marathon. Second stop on the Pro Series Tour of the APBA. Rear shot on board Hood's Quality Cruise. Number 1 in Super V Light, Hood's Quality Foods with Mitch Miller and Matt Rice, driver and throttleman. There's Pier 57 Stainless Marine. Pier 57, a 38-foot fountain. Bill McComb is the driver. Rick Turmel is the throttle man. Bill from Sarasota, Rick from Tamarack, Florida. Pier 57, a 38-foot fountain, as we said, powered by Vortec, two 500-horsepower inboards. Pier 57 is throttled by three-time world champion Rick Turmel and driven by Bill McComb. Now, in 2001, Rick and Bill won the World Championship in Key West. Bill would like to thank his wife, Ellie, and their kids, also Dennis McSweeney, for his help in sports marketing. Also, Sarasota Spine and Sports Therapy. And there is Rodriguez Group on the outside. A battle going on here between Rodriguez Group and Pier 57. Also, special thanks to Debbie Fleischer for Public Relations, Jeff Crystal Brown, Turmel Family and Friends, and Stainless Marine, in particular, Jerry Schmidt. Also, special thanks to Dollar Offshore, Mindy and John and crew for the drive. And a special thanks to Competition Edge Marine for re-rigging and the maintenance of this boat for the season. Top of the pack, Pier 57. Took a first place in Daytona earlier this year. Pier 57 always runs well. Competition Edge Marine in Fort Lauderdale, home for all your rigging and inboard needs. Competition Edge Marine. Rodriguez Group on the left, Pier 57 on the right. Battle continues here in Super V Light. Pier 57 and Rodriguez. Water's fairly flat here in Marathon for race number 2. Factory 2 boat, Harwich Concrete. It's a 35-foot fountain, Mercury-powered. Mark O'Duggan, the driver. Christopher Wickstrom is the throttle man. Took a third place in Daytona earlier this season. Harwich Concrete. Chris Wickstrom, the owner. Mercury-powered, two 500-horsepower inboards. Currently in first place in Factory 2. Harwich Concrete. Let's go on board with Mark O'Duggan and Chris Wickstrom. Other competitors in Factory 2, let's play racing. Snap-on Talking Tools, Sonic Racing, Total Marine, R&S Offshore Racing, Herbert Racing, and Team Danzig. But Harwich Concrete, number 1. Marco Duggan at the wheel, Chris Wickstrom on throttle. 7 Mile Bridge. Second stop for the APBA on its Pro Series 2002 tour here in Marathon, Florida. Number 1, Harwich Concrete, number 1 in Factory 2. On board Harwich Concrete block now, F257 with Marco Duggan and Chris Wickstrom. Number 1 in Factory 2. We're going to take Harwich to the finish. They know it. They're number 1 in Factory 2. The victory sign. Harwich Concrete block, number 1 in Factory 2, 35-foot time. Slowing down. That is it, the end of race number 2, your Factory 2 and Super V Light boats. Highly competitive racing, but most of all, safe racing here in Marathon, Florida. In just a moment, we'll have the winners for you as we see the many spectators along the 7 Mile Bridge here in Marathon. great vantage point for the spectators to watch this race, and they have, as many have, here at race number 2 and throughout the weekend. Well, the rain held out here to have race number 2 finish up with no problems. We've got one more to go this afternoon. All right, Factory 2 class, Harwich Concrete. You just saw them. They got the checkered flag. Came in first place, followed by Team Donzi and RNS Racing. Harwich Concrete Block, your winner in Factory 2. In Super V Light, twin class, it's Quality Foods in first, followed by Pure 57. And in third, Rodriguez Group, but it's Quality Foods getting the checkered flag in Super V Light twin class, your winner. In Super V Light single class, Solarize coming out on top, followed by Vortec Extreme and Fury Solarized all the way in Super V Light single class. And that is it. Your winners for race number 2, the end of race number 2. Exciting racing, highly competitive racing, but most of all, safe racing, and that's what it's all about. Now, before we go, there are a few people that we would like to thank. First off, the entire staff of the APBA for orchestrating this fine event. A special thanks to Mr. Lee Mills, the race producer. Also, special thanks to Gary and Nancy Johnson for their fine camera work. Mr. Russell Kilpatrick, our helicopter pilot, for doing a great job as he always does. So on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame video production crew, this is Vince Lipari wishing you a fond farewell from Marathon, Florida. Hoping to see you at the next stop of the APBA Tour in Cape Cod. Bye, everyone. Beach Offshore on the inside. In Factory 1, Chicks Beach Offshore. Luke Dickey is your driver and Gino Marone the throttle man. There's Boxer on the outside. On the inside, Chicks Beach Offshore, as we said, Luke Dickey the driver, Gino Marone the throttle man. Mercury powered 29-foot fountain. Gino Marone, the owner of Chicks Beach, ran well in Daytona. Specialized racing on the outside of Chicks Beach Offshore. And Boxer on the far outside. Main sponsor for Chicks Beach is Aflac. Aflac offers supplemental insurances, including short-term disability, long-term disability, and cancer policies. The nationwide insurance company that started in 1955 and insures over 40 million people worldwide. It's a Fortune 500 company and the largest foreign insurer in Japan. Special thanks to Rick Krasinski and Aflac Wrap. Other sponsors include Shore Drive Marine, Little Joe's Autos, Chicks Beach Furniture and Fashion, and Ann's Oil One at MSN.com. A lot of hanging and banging here in Cape Cod today, as you can see. Chicks Beach Offshore, F-141. A lot of hanging and banging, bumpy waters here in Cape Cod. Let's go on board and listen to their conversation.
Cardi Silver's coming up on the inside. My side, yeah, alrighty. Trying to give him enough room. I got you. Go. He's on your side, coming in, right? Got it. Tally ho. Stay on top of this shit. You're doing a good job right now. You got a good rhythm going. No, we can't do much talking with all this shit going on. Good rhythm, Gino. That's good. I got you.
Factor helicopter shot. Chicks Beach Offshore. Gino Marone and Luke Dickey. 29-foot fountain. Round the turn, Chicks Beach Offshore, Factory 1. Weather conditions here, the bumpy water conditions are taking their toll. But this boat right here, Patriot Offshore Racing, is running well. On board, Patriot Offshore Racing. Curtis Watkins, the driver. John Thames, the throttle man. Onboard Patriot. Curtis from Fort Lauderdale. John from Stowe, Vermont. Inboards, Hood's Quality Foods. Took a 4th place in Daytona, currently in 2nd place in the national point standings. There's Lucas Oil on the outside. Lucas Oil, 38-foot Scarab. Vortex Power, John Hannes, the driver. Nigel Hook is the throttle man. John from DeLand, Florida. Nigel from Del Mar, California. Battle here, Lucas Oil and Hood's Quality Foods. Great little battle here for 3rd place right now. Lucas and Utz. A fountain against the Scarab. Lucas Oil currently in the national point standings is in 4th place. On board, Hood's Quality Foods. Mitch Miller and Matt Rice. It's a 38-foot fountain. Bill McComb and Rick Termel, driver and throttle man aboard that boat. Pier 57. Took a 1st place in Daytona, 2nd place in Marathon, currently in 1st place in the national point standings. This boat is crewed by Competitive Edge Marine out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Special thanks to Competitive Edge Marine, also Dollar Offshore Marine, Mindy Dollar and crew, Stainless Marine Jerry Schmidt and Alan Brown and crew, Vortec Engines, Pier 57, Sarasota Spina Sports Therapy, Bill and Ellie McCobe, and Dennis McSweeney and Debbie Fleischman for public relations and marketing. Now the Pier 57 offshore race boat is a 38-foot fountain hull that was built at Skater Marine in Douglas, Michigan. Boat uses the latest technology in step bottom hull design. Rick Termel on throttle. Bill McComb, the driver. Boat powered by two 500 horsepower Vortec inboards. Now the drive propulsion will be two Mercruiser number 5 Speedmasters that will be maintained by Dollar Offshore in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They have proven to be number 1 in drive maintenance with 0 failures and proven to be indestructible in rough and calm waters. And two HP3 Vortec engines. Now in 2001, in the Extreme Stainless Marine Offshore race boat, they ran it 6 out of 8 races and captured first place in all 6 races. Also achieved the 2nd Oprah Gold Cup Championship and their 3rd World Championship in a row. We're going to go now with the Super V single and Super V twin start. And the competitors include Lucas Oil, Utz Quality Foods, Rodriguez Group, Solarized, Fury, and Extreme. Boats spreading out, lining up. Just a few moments away from this start. And we've got a green flag now here in race number 2 of this Cape Cod Rendezvous. And your early leaders are Pier 57 Stainless, Rodriguez Group, Lucas Oil, and Utz Quality Foods. Early moments of this race. Pier 57, Rodriguez, Lucas, and Utz. And we're going to go with Utz Quality Foods here on the inside, with Lucas Oil on the outside. On board Utz Quality Foods, Mitch Miller, the driver, Matt Rice, the throttle man, 38-foot fountain, Mercury power, 500 horsepower inboards. Utz Quality Foods took a 4th place in Daytona, currently in 2nd place in the national point standings. There's Lucas Oil on the outside. Lucas Oil, 38-foot Scarab. Vortex Power, John Hannes, the driver, Nigel Hook is the throttle man. John from DeLand, Florida, Nigel from Del Mar, California. Battle here, Lucas Oil and Utz Quality Foods. Great little battle here for 3rd place right now. Lucas and Utz. A fountain against the Scarab. Lucas Oil currently in the national point standings is in 4th place. On board, Utz Quality Foods. Mitch Miller and Matt Rice. There's Pier 57 Stainless. It's a 38-foot fountain. Bill McComb and Rick Termel, driver and throttle man aboard that boat. Pier 57. Took a 1st place in Daytona, 2nd place in Marathon, currently in 1st place in the national point standings. This boat is crewed by Competitive Edge Marine out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Special thanks to Competitive Edge Marine, also Dollar Offshore Marine, Mindy Dollar and crew, Stainless Marine, Jerry Schmidt and Alan Brown and crew, Vortec Engines, Pier 57, Sarasota Spina Sports Therapy, Bill and Ellie McComb, and Dennis McSweeney and Debbie Fleischman for public relations and marketing. Now, the Pier 57 offshore race boat is a 38-foot fountain hull that was built at Skater Marine in Douglas, Michigan. The boat uses the latest technology in step bottom hull design. Rick Termel on throttle, Bill McComb the driver. Boat powered by 2 500 horsepower Vortec inboards. Now the drive propulsion will be 2 Mercruiser number 5 Speed Masters that will be maintained by Dollar Offshore in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They have proven to be #1 in drive maintenance with 0 failures and proven to be indestructible in rough and calm waters, and 2 HP3 Vortec engines. Now in 2001, in the Extreme Stainless Marine Offshore race boat, they ran it 6 out of 8 races and captured first place in all 6 races. Also achieved the 2nd Oprah Gold Cup Championship and their 3rd World Championship in a row. Rick Termel and Bill McComb in first place right now. There's the extra lean boat coming in on the inside, extra lean. #1 in class, Pier 57 Stainless. You're watching the Cape Cod Rendezvous, race #2 of 3 races here today. Already had race #1, exciting racing there. We're going to get race #3 in after this one. Of course, this was supposed to be a 2-day event, 2 days of racing, but the weather curtailed that, and everyone's racing today, which is Sunday. Nice jump there, Pier 57. What's coming up? What's Quality Foods? Mitch Miller and Matt Rice. All right, your winners in Super V Twin. We got Lucas Oil getting the checkered flag in first place, followed by Us Quality Foods. Rodriguez Group bringing up 3rd. Apparently, Pier 57 Stainless dropped off in the last couple of laps, delaminated, and started to sink, but was taken out of the water. Lucas Oil getting the checkered flag in Super V Twin. Highly competitive racing, great racing here at the Cape Cod Rendezvous in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Okay, now we're going to give you the national point standings in the various classes after this race. First off in Factory 2, Team Downsy moving up to first place, followed by Harwich Concrete. Herbert Racing in 3rd, R&S Racing in 4th, and Snap-on Talking Tools in 5th place in Factory 2. In Factory 1, Flash Wave and Activator are tied for first place. Typhoon is in 3rd. Offshore Addiction is in 4th, and Propco in 5th place in Factory 1. In Super V Light, we've got Vortec Extreme in first place, followed by Fury and Solarized. And finally, in Super V Light Twin, it's Pier 57, Us Quality Foods, and Rodriguez Group. And those are your national point standings in Factory 2, Factory 1, Super V Light, and Super V Light Twin. So exciting racing here at Cape Cod Rendezvous. Of course, the big story today was the rough water, highly competitive racing going on because of that. Now, before we go, there are a few people that we would like to thank. First off, the entire staff of the APBA. Also, Gary and Nancy Johnson for their fine camera work. There's Eve Brinker for her support. Our helicopter pilot, Mr. Ray Newcomb from JBI Helicopters. On behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video production crew, this is Vince Lipari wishing you a fond farewell from Cape Cod. See you at the next APBA race in Savannah, Georgia. Bye, everyone.